I'm Jonathan, founder of Cranberry Panda. Not going to talk much about myself. We're a recruitment agency specialising in e-commerce. Since we did this slide, which I handed in on Monday, there's actually 18 of us now. And very excited actually to be able to announce that Ashley Friedland from eConsultancy has joined as a non-exec director, which is great news for us. We spend all our days talking to e-commerce people, e-commerce professionals, e-commerce clients, so we can bring all that knowledge together. And I'm here today to talk about what's going on in the industry, what insights we've found, issues that might be coming up as well, so you can start thinking about maybe how you protect your team, retention of your staff, which is the most important thing. We've also recently undertook a big salary survey where just under 200 people took part and answered quite a detailed list of questions about what's happening, what's their thoughts about the market, how long they want to stay in a job, how far they can travel to work, that sort of thing. So we'll add some insight into this presentation today, but we're releasing the full version on Thursday next week. So having a bit of party. Anyone wants to come to a party in Shoreditch? So skills in demand. Pretty much everything, to be honest. There's some areas that are easier to recruit for, easier for you to find staff for than others, but all areas are struggling. We had a look into sort of why this was, and one of the main reasons is that there's not enough people coming in at the junior level. You know, it's quite hard for small and medium-sized companies to find the time to train somebody who doesn't have any sort of skills in e-commerce. They're normally looking for someone with at least a year's experience across all levels. So without those people coming in, clearly there's not enough people that are going to be able to move up as well. And that's an issue that's still carrying on today. Roles are dividing. You see things like, if I use pay-per-click as an example, you may have somebody coming in as a pay-per-click executive. You know, there are all these different sort of specialisms splitting out as the teams have to grow. But an issue that comes with that is that people are becoming increasingly aware that there is sometimes a life cycle and a limit to where you can get to. So pay-per-click person might become, you know, paid search manager or something, but what they want to become is, you know, an acquisitions manager, and then become an online marketing manager, and then become the head of online marketing director in the future. So being able to give them a path where they can achieve that means that they will stay in your company. If they can't move up, then unfortunately they move on. And what we're finding is typically anywhere between 12 and 18 months in a particular role is actually quite a long time for a lot of people. Specialisms are moving internally. Again, search, design, all these different areas that are sort of bringing people inside the business. Look at search again as an example. People are building paid search teams, which might mean they're getting rid of their agency, or it might mean they're working with their agency as well. But agencies are still growing significantly, so there's a real demand across, you know, not just for e-commerce clients, but for agency clients to try and find these people in an ever-decreasing market. And design. Who's tried to hire a web design recently on a permanent role? It's not easy. Even at 25 grand, even the sort of juniors in web design, they're looking to go contract. Partly because the money's a bit better, but mainly because there's a variety in the work that they're doing. You know, you work on the same e-commerce site every day, particularly if like 50% of your job is email, then you do get a bit bored, I'm afraid. Emerging roles. So we've mentioned design and UX, UI, customer experience tonight. And again, this is something that's becoming very prevalent out there. It's an interesting mix. So obviously there's not just single person in usability. You can have, you know, the more creative designers who have that UX experience of how to implement it into the site. You've got your UX architects as well. Trying to find one person to do a UX for your business across all the different platforms as well, web, mobile, tablet, it is difficult. You know, so trying to find the person that fits, whether you've got a really good design team, a really good analytics team, someone that fits in the middle is important. Search is dividing massively. Big search teams, I mean, we're working with people at the moment who are having like biddable social people, so purely search, so it's purely paid search people who are looking after the Twitter and Facebook adverts. Analysts, as we all know, hard to find. Real gems, as mentioned earlier by Napur. but increasingly businesses are adding data analysts and business analysts into the analytical team, and that supports the web analysts as well. Internal strategy. This is a fairly new one actually, but it's becoming sort of quite a bit popular, particularly in the larger companies who can support it. But this is senior roles for people who sit in between the operational e-commerce team and the board. And their role is simply to, well, simply, it's not that simple actually, but come up with a 3 to 5 year plan for where the business is going to take digital, multi-channel over that time period. And that's actually very appealing to some people who are starting to get a little bit bored of doing the same thing, the same sort of day-to-day of running an e-commerce business. As that happens, as roles divide, as they become more opportunities, there's an increase in the amount of job titles. Out of the 92 people that we asked of the survey, 141 different job titles. Yeah, it doesn't make it easy for you to find the right people. Developing industries, gaming and gambling, massive industries. You've only got to be unfortunate to be at home one day and watch Jeremy Kyle and see how many adverts for bingo are in the middle of the TV show. It's massive. But there's certain disciplines that these do really, really well. They're obviously massively data-driven, very analytical in the way they approach everything from marketing to UX to customer engagement. So there are some really good skilled people within those industries that can support and be a real benefit within sort of the retail sector. John Lewis, for example, one of their most senior hires in the online marketing team, came from Ladbrokes. They wanted that additional skills, additional analytics in there. I picked a report that said the UK was the best at e-commerce, which I think most of us agree. Yeah, I think so. And whilst that's great, that obviously means we're doing fantastically well. Sales are increasing online because we're shipping internationally. What it also means is that we are increasingly visible as the country with the best talent. And more people, sort of with European countries where there's sort of free border access, they're looking for UK people. Place roles in Hong Kong, one in the middle of New Zealand. Australia is very active as well, trying to get UK people. So that is a bit of an issue that they're going to take people from us. The saving grace at the moment is that they are quite a few years behind, fortunately. So for somebody to leave the UK, work over there for a couple of years, it's a risk for that candidate to then come back to the UK and expect to be at their same position or a higher position than when they left. So at the moment, that's good. Publishing. I mean, if you look at some of the publishing sites, the magazine sites out there, I mean, they're massive. I mean, the Mail Online, Daily Mail Group, whether you love them or hate them, most popular news site in the world. It's not difficult for them to drive people into their online site. Probably should be doing a bit better, but the potential is really there. Grazia recently bought a company called London Boutiques. Again, another sort of luxury female fashion site to provide that online offering to their customer, their reader base. So again, there's people being pulled from all sorts of different areas. Okay, so where are the big bucks? Everywhere, basically. Which you might want to hear, but it's true. Average salary in e-commerce, as it says up there, is just over 40,000. If we put that into comparison, average salary in the UK across all areas is 27,000. So it's significantly different. Finance and gambling have always paid a bit more because they're just not quite as sexy as retail, are they? So people don't want to go there, so they're enticed by the money. As mentioned earlier about analysts being gold dust, that is so true. Recently worked with an analyst who in mid-2011 was an intern. He's just secured a £50,000 job after 2.5 years of experience. And it obviously is very good, but the money is increasing significantly. Having said all that, there is an increasing trend that we're noticing of people wanting to get a bit of excitement back into it. So we've all been talking about how, back in '99, people didn't really know what e-commerce was. It was exciting. We were going out and sort of evangelizing about what it could do. I'd say none of us really knew exactly where it was going to go. But people are looking for new, interesting ways to use their skills. And with the likes of, sort of Airbnb, Twitter, some of the bigger American companies coming over here with significant investment, that will be a potential threat to people moving from e-commerce to those areas as well. Okay, and to finish off, Then we go at the bar. That's all worked. Good. So these are some of the stats and information from our recent salary survey. And as I said, there'll be a full publication coming out next Thursday. The highlights from it are there is a gender gap. I won't tell you any more. You can sort of read the survey. 71% of people had a pay rise last year. Only 3% took a pay cut. And the last point, if you're looking, people looking to move, expect a salary increase of between 10 and 20%, which is significant. Thank you.